back. First week, in a few weeks. So we're starting a brand new mix. This is with my buddy Parsa. This is a pretty dense mix. So I started the overall mix already. Uh, so as you can see here, I already kind of went through the tracks, the stems. Up top here we have the drums. So the verses have the sub kick going on here. And then the main hook has this big, just kind of trap drums. Then we have the effects, kind of range and stuff. Mainly for like risers, and we have a sweep down. And then we have the bass. The verses have a bass. The choruses have 808. If you hear like, it's quite the difference between those two sections. So that's pretty cool. We also do have like a little bass here, just for the notes, for the notes to get captured. And let me see. Then we have the guitars. So if we come here to the guitars, we have the lead guitar and the rhythm guitar. I actually like rhythm first. This is for the pre. There's no guitars in the hook. And yeah, there's a ton of like, these are called pads. All just different layers of pads. Then we have kind of like the soft synth section, which is, or the and then we have the leads of the keys and the synths. Like we have this really cool Glock. Here it is. Yeah, that's a cool lo-fi pad. More bells, and then like the big like accent lead. And then all the vocals. So the vocals are different stacks, and we have like this kind of like dreamy bridge section, and you can hear some of the vocals. So yeah, so that was the overall vibe. I played the song a little bit to start it. I already color coded everything and put all the stems where they had to go, and you can see with my markers, if you're a Pro Tools junkie like I am with quick keys, Command uh 5 on the keypad. Very important, it's on the keypad, not on the numeric keypad. You have to have that. It brings it up, and then I labeled all the sections. The verse starts off the song. Oh, then we got the pre's, the hook. So here's all the markers, and yeah, I just wanted to take care of that yesterday because it's a big session. It's a big session, and there's going to be a bit of work to kind of get these two sections to work. The As you can hear, like the verses and the bridge are very kind of drop alternative, and then we have the big kind of pop with some trap influence drums. So it's always kind of a trick to get these sections to work. So I got some of the dirty work done, and you'll see it. You've seen it before. What we are going to do though is we're going to play the track again, and we're going to gain stage. So I have a master track here, and I'm gonna just grab all the tracks, group them. I label it FM for a full mix. And because we're gonna start gauge staging, I want to make sure that the master volume does not. We're not peaking in red like you. Let's especially this part. Like this is kind of where it's gonna tell. So you can see we're peaking there, and we are at over 5.2. So what we can do is just start lowering the overall track. I'm gonna say a safe space for it would be 7. So now let's if you want to clear your peaks on Pro Tools, don't worry. To clear your peaks, you have the red peak there is option C, and that clears your peaks. You can clear the peaks other ways, but this is the for me the fastest way is just option C. And we know now we have a clear no peaks. We lowered the track. We lowered all the stems by 7 dBs, so we have plenty of headroom as we start adding instruments. I mean, if we start adding all the plugins and doing the chain of effects. So I'm gonna play the song from top to bottom, so we can kind of once again hear the song, get familiar with the song, and also manage the gain staging. So the goal again is to not be on the red with the full mix here in this track. So let's take a listen. Your party leads to another party of its own in the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Okay, so just listening to the two sections, the hooks are the loudest parts, and we with the hooks we were peaking at negative 1.8, so we have plenty of headroom. So it was a good call turning all the stems down by 7 dB. And then the first thing I'm gonna do, since we already figured that out, is I'm gonna turn heat on. Heat is a part of Pro Tools. I think you have to have Studio, and it allows you to kind of get tape emulation sounds. And the tape emulation sound, it's created by the Crane Sound guys. Really cool. These are the settings that I've used all the time. I kind of I'm in the school of thought where you have certain settings set and you mix to it, and I've been just kind of that's the color that I know and the color that I like. So I put that on, and you'll see up here. Gotta change this view. You right click on the IO, and then we put heat, and then on the individual tracks you'll see how much heat you get. Oh, I don't want heat. No. Your party leads to another. there how much you're getting. Um, so yeah, you see like all the so that's how much heat we're getting per track, and it just again it's like a bit of a flavor thing. So now that we have that going on, the gain staging's already set up. This session's a little cleaner, just and we kind of got to step a little faster because it's my production. Parse I've been working with for a few years now, and I first started mixing his stuff, and now I'm doing production for him. So he like kind of writes the song and puts his production, just basic ideas, pianos or guitar ideas from Logic, and then he sends it to me, and then like I build it out, and we just kind of go back and forth until we find the sounds that makes him happy. And it's a journey with any song and any artist because like we always have to make sure, especially because we're working remotely, we're not working in the same studio together. So we talk about the song, we kind of get a vibe. We're like, hey, want this, and I interpret that, and sometimes I get it, sometimes I'm a little left. So because I think like the big reference was like once a lot of times we'll talk about like Playboy Cardi, and I'm like all about rage Playboy Cardi. He's about the different type, like the more artsy Playboy Cardi tracks, and so my drums and sounds for Cardi set tracks are like based on that. Um, so yeah, it's that's how that one goes. So let's keep playing this. Okay, so we're just gonna import some settings now so we can kind of start routing and doing the mixing portion of it. This one's gonna be in the box, so we'll do Option Shift I, and let's look for the. What was the last songs we did here? Um, we let me see. What songs did we mix? Jeff's song was really cool. And the reason what I'm doing here is I'm importing the I'm importing the I'm importing the session data because it just has like the routing and stuff that I need. I'm not huge on session templates yet, but I think one of the things we definitely are going to do is create session templates. I've kind of come to the conclusion that we need some, and I'm just gonna add the stuff that I like. So we have all these drums, the VCA, bass, fat. So this is like parallel compression that I like, and then let's see. I don't want to touch the vocal stuff because I will be having. You know what? I'll take the vocal actually because I can just use it for routing. Then we do like the in the box kind of summing that I like to do. VCA, more parallel, my master, we can link it to the master, and then we have the stereo aux track where everything goes. Now, one quick thing, if you I show you here, when I go to choose, I remove the volume automation. Uh, I remove the volume automation, the pan automation, and the mute automation because that's going to completely be different. So I just want the routing and I want the inputs and outputs to be connected. So we're going to press OK on that one, and then we're going to bring those into the session. Let's see how it plays. Okay, so now here's when we have to start routing everything. So I'm going to take the drum aux here and take all the drums and also the bass stuff because it's all kind of close together. Bring it over here. I'm going to take the drums and we're going to, I like to just not have anything routed to it. Um, yeah. So drums. Okay, cool. So we're gonna put all the output to. So you see this drum aux here. This is my master drum aux. It's labeled drum MST. So I'm gonna take all the drums here, and we are not this track going to route them to that output. So just finding here. Pro Tools has plenty of outputs. Then I'm gonna take this fatso, which I use for my basses, and I'm gonna find the bass, which is this right here. I'm not gonna put it on the 808, but just the bass. And then I'm actually gonna take all these tracks. I like to make sure there's no input just so we don't have any feedback issues. All right. So, and then the bass here, I have my sends up ready to go here. So I'll send it over to, it's called the Fatso here. And I just like to send everything at 100. So it's really hitting the compressors and stuff. But when I do that, I lower it down all the way there. And now I have to also route these tracks. I'm going to route them to so let me show you real quickly. We have these four called drum all, music all, vox all, and effects all. So these are auxes that that are subgroups. Today I am mixing Parsa. He is the artist from Arizona, and he's doing like a mixture of, I would say, like dream pop with like more like straight up hard hitting pop. It's got a lot of alternative influences. It's Parsa Slater on DSPs, and I think he's on Instagram, but not on TikTok. But yeah, he's like a bit of an influencer now on, not a bit. He's a quite an influencer on Instagram, but he's a really creative artist. And yeah, I'll play the track a little bit more once I kind of get the routing going. So we have these four subgroups, and I'm gonna start sending everything to those subgroups. So we have the drums. The drum master that I already have automatically gets sent to that subgroup for drums, and that's why I import the session data because it just automatically does it for me. We're going to send these to the music hall, and that one is going to be uh, where the drums also go to. So here we have more tracks here. All these tracks right now, like all these pads, guitars, the 808s, those are also going to the music. So let's just kind of get everything routed to the music. So that where we have music all, and then we have the keys, the key leads, and those are all first no input to avoid feedback, and then we go here. music. So it's just, the routing takes a minute, but it's part of the process, and we got to make sure we do it. Yeah, I can share it. I don't have an internal yet. I'm still external. I have to do the change over. You know what? I'm gonna try to mix the track in Atmos for the live feed this year though. I just need to find one. Are you internal? Did you update to the new Pro Tools? Because I'm still a year behind. Yeah, internal is the way to go. Really. You just have to navigate. There's my buddy did something where he does like the routes it inside so you can get the actual metering, because that's the only thing that I like about the external renderer is the metering. Yeah, I think I just updated my OS to Sequoia, and I'm probably gonna go the new Pro Tools in like the next week or two, just to try it out, because I want to try the Splice implementation stuff. So it should be kind of cool. And then they did like Sony 360 too, which is really funny, because now we have Sony 360, Dolby Atmos, and Apple Immersive. I'm not sure what it's gonna be, but it has this cool feature. But yeah, the thing is, like, my template's pretty hefty when it comes to Atmos, and I gotta convert that into the internal render. Okay, so all the vocals are gonna go to this hook aux, which is you can see here, the hook aux is just my aux for all the vocals. I like to group all the vocals together because I like how it like sounds together. Brendan O'Brien, yes, Brendan O'Brien. I was a runner for Brendan O'Brien for a few years. Uh, I put everything in -7 to have headroom because when I imported all the stems, we were going over what was it? We were at over 5.2. So it was like we were peaking at 5.2. So I wanted to lower it to have headroom. Otherwise everything is just gonna, like, the plugins are gonna be over I'm oversaturating the plugins, which I do not want to do. Let me see. I like to do it I just have always done it. That's how I kind of started when I did it for when I was assisting different mixers. Because I think, I started pre-clip gain. They're called different wave files back in the day. They weren't clips. So okay, let's just gotta get this routed. So this is going to the hook aux. If we can find the hook aux. Hook aux. Cool. Now the section that has everything would be the drums here. And you can see everything's routed to the aux, and we have no audio coming out. So we have routed everything properly. We have everything in this internal aux system that I work out of, and now we kind of listen to everything again. So let's kind of check the song from the top to bottom, see how it feels. Alright, so everything seems to be working. Let's hear from the second verse real quickly out. Last night up in the car, it felt like love. But when you walk away, it felt so tough. Under the hotel lights, my door's unlocked. We'll talk to me down. My heart goes la 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 la. When you walk, when you talk, show me the way. Please don't stop, time is ticking. Can you keep me on behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Dark street on, street on, street on, street on. Okay, so everything sounds pretty cool. So just to kind of go over one little quick section, my aux group here. So the whole purpose of this is to kind of emulate like a console or like summing, and so I break everything up into these 4 groups, and from the 4 groups you can they all go to the solid state logic LSL G series stereo compressor, and I use the legacy one from Universal Audio. And so one's for the drums, one's for the music. Now there's one big difference: the drums feed into the music, and then the drums, music, Vox, and effects all go into a master aux. And yeah, it's kind of cool because you can kind of control some stuff. Like if you want just like the vocals up, I go to the vocal stereo compressor, which is vocal aux here, and I can just raise them a little bit. I try to keep it under 4 dB of gain. It just seems to be my favorite spot, and that's how it works. So let's start looking at the drums. So again, we're going to be dealing with 2 different sections. I think we have to first start with the hook because it has the most hard-hitting elements. It's the fullest. You can tell here, like we have all these different synths. It's in 808. So it's just a bigger sonic footprint. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to go back to the verses and the pre's, which are more like down, and we have to make sure that we have a good transition between everything, and we kind of just get like a nice workflow. So let's just kind of loop the hook, and then we're going to just focus on the drums. So I don't think I'm going to do too much of crazy stuff. I actually might bypass the first sub kick for the other section to go straight into the drums aux, because I don't think that they need the same treatment. And let's start with the... Okay, so we have the Shadow Hills compressor. So the Shadow Hill compressor, it sounds pretty good where it's at right now. But let me just show you what we're gonna do. We're not using the optical side. We're using just the discrete side. We have it at a 3-to-1 ratio, fast attack, kind of in the middle release, and the threshold we're gonna figure that out. We have a bit of gain, and right now we're in steel. Steel has a lot of low end, so trying to find the sweet spot. There you go. All right, so we're not trying to do too much heavy lifting on there. I do want to send this one to the drum crush because I like the drum crush as my support. I have 2 drum crushes, so we're gonna try both and see which one works. Sometimes they both work, sometimes neither work. So best thing to do though is to start with these guys at 0. Where are they? Yeah, I see off rip, just like wait too much. So we're gonna find these tracks here. I have a fader port, or I have an artist series from Avid. And we are going to okay. So we're gonna just bring these all the way down, and then we're gonna slowly bring them up. But you know, the one thing I do want to also have up right now is the SSL compressor, because I want to see how much work is going on there. So I'm blending in the 2 different blending the 2 different parallel compressors, and let me just show you where we're at those 2. So we have this. It's not passing 4. So one drum crush is the Pug Child, the other drum crush is the Culture Vulture, which is like a kind of saturation, distortion, overdrive box, and sounding pretty cool. Now we do want to add the bass, and this is going to be the 808. Let me do this. So what I was doing right now is I was just checking the meters. I lowered after adding the parallel compression, I lowered the overall mix from the SSL because it's too hot. So I still want to. We haven't started putting plugins into the master chain, and because of that, I don't want to. I don't want to overdrive those plugins without intention. So I always like to start with not clipping, and then we kind of go through that process. And right now, so that's why I have to still control as many plugins. I usually don't add too many plugins. up front before we start doing the two bus processing, which we're gonna start pretty shortly because it's a really big part of the process in my eyes, and I like to mix into it more than like have like a mix and then add that at the end. Excuse me, gotta refuel the coffee. All right, let me see. Okay, one more thing I am gonna do before we get into the two bus is routing all the instrumentation into. I'm gonna group a few things. I think all these pads can go into its own subgroup. So we're going to create a with Pro Tools. You just highlight all the tracks you want to do. You go to this output, and you before you click on it, you press Option Shift, and then go to New Track. And we're gonna label this pads aux, and then automatically all those get routed to this pad aux track. We're gonna take the output of that and route it to our music aux. And then the same with the synths. I just feel like um, I want all these things to kind of work together. Like we have a lot of sauce synths type of thing and like kind of dance sounds. We're gonna send those all to its own aux, so we'll call this synth aux. So that goes there. Uh, uh, uh. And this goes all the way to. Hold on, let's see this. Okay, so let's see. Um, my TikTok crowd, I had to take a quick break to help a friend reach us in the stream. So let's see. Right. What are you doing now? Tracks enabled. Yeah, we're not recording anything. Let's see. So, the synths are in one track. Okay, so right now we're adding additional subgroups um to all the mixes because we have quite a bit of tracks. So this is synth leads. Oh, you know what? The other thing too is like people. I haven't done the folder thing. I was just talking to somebody about doing folders, um, instead of that because like watch, we're gonna actually do this right now. We're also gonna take these tracks and then we're gonna move to folder. And this folder is going to be called synth lead. Oh no, this is. Hold on. Yeah, so we need a new. Let me create this next group, and then we'll start doing that. So we're gonna send all these tracks into. No, we have a synth lead too. Yeah. Synth lead is here. Okay. Multitasking while streaming is kind of hard. I'm trying to do a bunch of different things. So, let me see. That's going to music all. Okay, so now let's grab all these, right click, and then move to the new folder. And the new folder, we're going to label it synth lead. And this is just to make the session a little cleaner to handle. See, like all those go there. Where's my synth off? Oh, but where's uh, okay, so then these ones go here. Then we're gonna do the same with the synth aux. This is just gonna be synths. We're gonna collapse the folder, and we're gonna do the same thing with the pads. We're going to move to new folder, pads, and then that's how. And then you can see here, like the sessions just starting to look a lot cleaner because there's a lot going on. Now the guitars, I'm gonna put them in the same folder, but they're going to have to live in different spaces because this guitar, these two guitars can go in the same place, and I kind of want them to because they're in the verses, and so we're gonna call this guitar aux verse guitar verse aux, and that one's gonna get routed out to music all. Okay, so we got that going through, and let me see. So, and that's just gonna stay here, and then I'm gonna take all these guitars and their aux. Oh, yeah. So we're gonna just grab all this then, and then move to new folder, and this is gonna be guitar, and we're just going to again collapse. I'm just trying to clean up the session so I have like better access to what's going on because it's a pretty big session. I think we have 50 plus tracks. Uh, with this track, I don't think I'm gonna be using these, but until I make that final decision, I'm gonna hold off. But here we're gonna just group all these drums too. Oh, no. We're not gonna group. We're gonna move them all into a folder. So move to folder. This is gonna be drums, and then let's see. Cool. So now that we have that kind of out of the way, we're gonna start sending everything to the parallel compressor, the rear bus. So I've been doing this for years. It's a Andrew Sheps thing where he created. I think he used to have like a compressor when he had the consoles that everything went to as like a bit of a glue for just instrumentation, no drums, and he would blend that in. I find that to give me a lot of depth. So right now we're looking at these tracks that don't have any groups, which is all the bass stuff. I don't send the 808 there, just the bass stuff and like these sound effects, risers. And then we're gonna send it to, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Rear bus. And again, I send it 100% hot. But I have it lowered here, and I'm gonna blend it into taste. And I'm gonna go ahead and start adding all the different sections. So we're gonna do all the guitars, all the drums. So I'm gonna just kind of go through that and let the track play a little bit while we kind of set that up.
Your party leads to another party of its own. In the Arizona desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Last night up in the car, it felt like love. But when you walk away, it felt so tough. Under the hotel lights, my door's unlocked. Talk to me, darling. My heart goes la 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 la. When you walk, when you talk.
Okay, so we have all that added, and I'm just gonna kind of show you a little bit how it works. So my rear bus is all the way back here, and this is a master that feeds into it, and the plugin that we have is just 1176. I do add this Pro Q7 with a gnarly curve just because I don't want to get it too muddy, but it helps add a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna just show you as I fade it in. You should be able to hear it. So let's do this.
Your party leads to another party.
And again, let's do it from the hook because that's the loudest section. So you can just see like the synths are wider. I haven't even added any plugins. The synths are wider. We're getting more depth to it. So it's a cool um function that I like. All right, so with that though, we will have to start working on the two bus because now this at this point I'm like, okay, I can hear the elements. I know what we're doing. I'm probably gonna bring the rear bus a little bit lower because once I start adding compression, limiting all that stuff, it's gonna get much louder. Um, and the first plugin we add is the BX. This is a stereo. I use this as a mid-side EQ, and then it also has this mono maker, which I like to have the low end mono, so across systems it stays really tight, and the bass and the 808 here are mono, so I kind of just will keep it consistent throughout the wherever it's at, wherever it's getting played. And then I use this right here. I like this a lot. It's the stereo width at 116. I think Sheps and Alex May kind of put me onto that one. So I really think it's a great, great feature. So I'm gonna start bypassing some of the plugins and seeing what works and what doesn't work. I have a chain here that we might have to switch a few things because the track in general is a little different. And as I mentioned, it's a We have this big section, and then the other sections are very dynamic and dropped. So let's give it a listen. So not too much noticeable. And then you notice in our master bus we're still not clipping. So I didn't after adding all the light amount of plugins that I did in the parallel compression, we still kept headroom open so we can go into the master bus. Okay, the next plugin, it's the J tape, the J37 tape from Waves, Abbey Road Studio. It's a tape saturation again. This one, I use this setting called mastering fat, tight, and open. I remove all the noise, and then this one's a little hotter, but I kind of like how it sounds. So let's like A/B it. It's working really well. I like it. It's giving the clap some attack that wasn't there before, like more presence in the mix. But it's cool because it's not getting in the way of the vocal. And I have this plugin. This one I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but we're gonna give it a try. This is the Neve 33609. Okay, so I think I'm playing around with the recovery because I think it sucks out some of the life. So putting the recovery to like for it to release a little bit quicker is actually working better. I'm a little iffy on it. I don't know if it's doing it what I needed to do, so let's do this. We're gonna keep it there for now. We're gonna add the Pultec here and see how this Pultec feels. So I actually never have used the 30 hertz on the Pultec, but it's adding what I needed because I feel like the low end just was not hitting. So my friends here on TikTok, I don't think you can hear as much as you can on the stream through the other platforms, but it just feels so much better. So I think that sounds really cool. Uh, let's try flipping the Pultec and the EQ because the compressor comes before the EQ on this, and we're gonna switch it because I want to see how it's gonna sound with like that low end going into the Neve because it might just have a better tone doing that. So let's bypass it now. No, it's not working. Go back. Okay, so yeah, that kind of worked. It gave it just like a fuller sound that I really was kind of missing from the production in the mix. So let's see. The next one in line is this Massenburg Design Works EQ, and this I just used kind of give a little lift to the 30K and the 16. 30K is kind of like a warmth thing for me that I like. It just adds the warmth that a lot of times the track is missing. Uh, so I like that one a lot. Let me see. Okay, so that did a little something. Now this is another again. This one is the Pro MB from Fab Filter. Really like this to just add more presence. And I like to add presence on a mix and master like in stages. I don't like to do too much heavy lifting with one. Otherwise, it kind of feels brittle and harsh. This is a more natural way I like to do it. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's pause these. too much, so it's kind of cool. Then we're gonna add the BX. This is called the XLV3, and it's got this really cool saturation that I like. I don't have a lot of it on at this point, but let's listen. It's only at 6%, and what I like about it is how it breaks it up. You have the mid low, mid high, and side. So you have a control individually of how the saturation is being distributed, and you have the overall global here. I don't use the anything else on it though. I don't use the true peak limiter or any limiting. I'm just trying to use the saturation. So what I did do is I went a little, I added more on the mid low because I wanted some of the saturation to affect the low end. And then we have the mid high, which I kind of tapered because I can hear the clapping and the snare a little too loud. So I lowered the threshold here to kind of attack the mid a little bit. Yeah, it sounds great. I actually really like it. Like, let's do an A/B. I'm gonna have it paused. I mean, bypassed. It just brought a cool little energy. Here's the black box now. Same kind of thing. This one I'm only doing like 8%, and I have the saturator all the way up, the air up, and we're at the high. We're just trying to bring out, get a clarity. It's all kind of giving the drums the clap a little too much presence. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lower this clap some. And so the kick has a lot of attack right now, and I want to kind of control some of that. And the best way for me to do that is to use this SPL transit designer. So I'm gonna add this, increase the sustain, so it makes the kick longer. It's got more. It's not so attacky. Okay, really like that. Let's just take and see now we're like, if you can see it here, we're now barely going over. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn down at one of these levels here. Is there an output one? This one? Output. Let's do that. Awesome. So now let's go to this guy. This is I was an 11, which I need to upgrade to 12. Heard some great things. So let's do this. Now this I think is going to be completely out of whack because it's a whole different type of mix. So let's just actually go to default on this. If I know how to do that. Oh no. Okay. I guess we'll just delete them, I guess. Okay, I'll leave these two there. So let's play the mix now. So I'm bumping the 4K range because I think it's giving me some of the definition in the vocal that I'm lacking. With that though, when you do that, we're also getting a lot of again the hats and the clap. So we'll probably let's lower the hats. I mean, I honestly like hats always have to be much lower once you kind of start involving all the processing. Okay, the saw synths are also kind of going kind of crazy, but we control that a little bit now. Okay, so that's in pretty good shape. Let's check out the stabilizer, and just see what it's doing. See if it helps us in any way. Right now, I'm listening to in Delta mode, so I can listen to what exactly it's doing, and if I want it to cut or shape. Ooh. That's a crazy pump. Let's see how it sounds inside. That gave the definition of the bass a lot of life.
Last night up in the car, it felt like
Yeah, this shape and the stabilizer really worked. It's been like a journey with the stabilizer because I've had it for ever since it came out, but I've never understood it in a way that like made sense to me. In the last few months, I've been using it more. I've been like kind of really dialing it in, like trying to understand what it's doing, and it's been really beneficial. Like right now, it's really kicking because like it's really gluing a lot of the elements together, and it's giving some of the transparency to the definition of the low end, and then the top end's getting like kind of smoothed out in like a nice way. So really cool. The next one in this, the next module is the we're looking at is the dynamic EQ, and this is just kind of like to reduce any like bad frequencies. So we're just gonna check each frequency to make sure it's in the ballpark, or try to find the frequency we want to get rid of. And so again, we're dealing in delta just so we can hear it. Well, actually, I can do this. Watch. Like we saw that bad. Hold on, go back. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna install 12 in the coming week or two, and we're gonna go to 12 because I'm really. I know there's new features too. We can hear it here. Like so, let's just find it. Oh, a terrible, terrible frequency, guys. Terrible frequency. Like that's just like nasty mid range. Let's just kind of get the Q a little tighter. Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Let's listen to this. Yeah, that's another resonance that I don't like. It's kind of gonna be hard to hear on multiple on like on any system that I'm on right now because when you do these solos, it just plays like what it's being affected, so it drops it a lot. But we're in like you can see in the screen, it's a 848, so it's just the hertz that like the vocals kind of competing with, and like just a harshness to it. So over here we're like, I think that's the biggest frequency because it's controlling the attack of the clap. Like it's like right around that 2K mark. So okay, so now we're into the maximizer. So here, let's do a few things. Let's turn off the upward compression and the soft clip. And we're not doing a ton of gain here. It's only 2.5 dBs. So I just want to make sure that we're not also doing too much gain reduction. So let's play it. so not doing a crazy amount of gain reduction, which is great. And we only are bringing it up by 2 dBs. Now, here's where on any modern production, like if it's like anything that has like hard hitting drums in a modern world, like of hip hop, R&B, dance, you gotta go between. You gotta test out both of these, transient and modern. We've been listening to modern. We're gonna switch it to transient and see if it gives the 808 attack and the kick attack more life, but it stays in the mix. Without it going, and it's just A B it. But that's what I like about the transient because it gives the kick and the bass a little bit more attack. So let's give it a listen. Yeah, so we're gonna go with transient because it just automatically adds more heaviness. Like the 808 has like um when the kick, it's just kind of doing this thing with the kick and the 808 where it just feels it, like you just feel it, like a club track, an upbeat tempo track, you want to feel the 808 and the kick hit you, and that's what this transient's doing. Um, Lately the transient's been winning a lot, but modern does have some good places. Okay, so let's put on the upward compress. Let's do the soft clip first. Not a whole lot going on. We're in the lower. This one is what's it called? The light soft clip. I think I have enough saturation going on into the master, so I don't want to go too much more. So let's start with 6. That wasn't too much. So let's do upward compression. This is like a new feature back when 11 came out. It was really cool. It just added more clarity in the mid to top range. We're not doing a ton, just 1.1. It's not doing anything crazy, so I like it. I don't want to push too much. I think we have like a good balance right now. And then the last one here is our True Peak from Brainwork. Super awesome limiter. Let me do one thing though. We have to check the BPM calculator. So our guy Nick Fever, I think this one's 121 or 122. 122. So let's go here. Delay calculator. We're gonna type it in 122, and we're looking at 245. So the reason this is basically making the compression of the limiter work on it's gonna be working on according to the tempo of the track. So it kind of like it's not attacking it or releasing it too much too fast. It kind of works with the attacks of what the kick and the 808s are kind of working within, so you don't lose the aggression that it brings. always turn off the XL because the XL we're using from the actual XL plugin, and then with the tone controls, I have the high pass filter and low pass filter off. I do use this foundation a lot, depending if I want to like control some of the low end when I'm looking at the metering. And this one has a really good meter actually. The Loves meter here is probably one of the more accurate ones for within a plugin. I have metric AB, which we'll bring up a little later, but I think the song's in a great place. It's loud enough too already, and this again we have to go back and play with the other sections, but this is in a good place. Oh, we gotta add the bass for the hook into Fatso. Listening volume because I want to hear how the drums are interacting a little bit. Some bass to the drum, to the kick. Trying to find the right place for what frequency we're getting. Drums are really in a good place. And now we need to kind of control some of these saw synths. So let's kind of solo these guys real quickly. Oh, that's great. So. We're gonna add I like using these older compressors because they kind of soften some of like the new sounds. Like these synths are all soft synths. They're a little aggressive, especially because they come from in the box. I don't think I used any hardware in this production. Everything was more of it was just on the box synths, a bunch of Omnisphere, Nexus, stuff like that. So I think this just kind of glues it better. Let's see what the output is though. The makeup gain's kind of hot. Okay. So I'm unlinking the left and right side, so it kind of makes it stereo and independent of each other. Okay, I like that. That's cool. Let's put it back in the track though. Let's hear how it sounds. That's really cool. So I think that one is where those need to be. Okay, so that guy alone can just come down. Let's play that back. So this one I think we gotta add a little more width to, so we can kind of give it its own space. So I like to use spread 22, and then there's this cool. I've always kind of started with this like diffused high keyboard player, and it just kind of gives it like a spread that makes it also not as harsh. Yeah.
Last night up in the car, it felt like love. But when you walk away, it felt
Okay, let's start looking at the pads now. Again, I told you guys this track is super dense, and we have to kind of touch on everything. The wonderful thing is that we already have our two bus going on, so now we're mixing into all those different settings, and we're just like chipping away at different sections of the song. And I kind of want to touch the vocals last because right now I'm trying to continue to carve space for the vocals. The vocals are right here. We're gonna push them up a little more up front, but I'm trying to make sure that everything behind it is in a good place. Okay, so we're trying to use this UA plugin. This one's called the UA 176 beat dash B. Okay. I'm trying to hear this the pads. I feel like they're super buried and we need to get some definition into it. But let's just try to do some basic volume gain. Okay, we're getting some pretty cool. I kind of hear it. It's very. Here's like the high of the mix, and it's just like here, really cool. I don't know, because you don't want this to be overpowering, but I want to give it some more clarity. Let's put on Pro Q4. Let's add the warm setting, and let's hear it. Okay, I think that's a pretty good spot. So that covers the pads, and I don't think there's any actual guitars going on in this part. Okay, there's no guitars. So, looking quickly at the vocals in this section, I have our compressor. There's no other plugins. Parsa sends me the vocals kind of processed the way that he does with his EQs, compression, and also his effects. He kind of has like his own tone. So a lot of times when I have an artist that really has a dialed in tone on the way that they like to hear themselves, I kind of keep everything they have, and we just kind of work from that space. This to me is like the perfect way to glue a bunch. Not there's not a ton of vocals in this track. There's like 4 or 5 different layers, but just in general, when I have a lot of vocal tracks, this is my favorite plugin, and I have the attack pretty fast, release kind of fast, a little on the mid slow side. My ratio is 12 in that 12 range, and the reason it's that because I kind of want it to be like a limiter, and it has this really cool effect that like all the background vocals get slowly lifted, so it's just kind of like a little push, and little push. So, and sometimes um, I do a lot of gain reduction. Okay, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna send it to the vocal parallel compressors that I like to use, and that's going to be the Vitalizer, which is a Vitalizer plugin I'll show you right now, and then this Pop Aux Crush that I like to use. So Vitalizer, again, I just like to go to 0 on these things. The one that it affects it would be my background vocal one, which is a different plugin that kind of, if I put too much into it, it darkens it up. So I gotta make sure I manage it correctly. Let's see. Let's just bring it here closer to where these lead ones are, just so I know exactly how I'm gonna control it. And again, I'm gonna just let me make sure on my artist mix I have control over it. Okay, great. So I lower these all the way down, automatically send them all the way in. So this vitalizer over here, oh no, I got the wrong one. Let's see, Aphex. Aphex is for my background vocals. Vitalizer is for my main vocal. Um, this is a cool little kind of stereo thing, and it kind of gives the lead vocal some width, and big fan of it. I'm gonna actually switch where these are going. I don't want them to feed the same aux as the vocal. I want it to go into the master vocal aux because I want it to hit the SSL instead of the RComp. I think the RComp is going to be just for these vocals, and then the SSL is going to take that RComp sub plus these parallels, and we're going to glue. Okay, guys, we're like close to 2 hours in this one. Um, we're having a good run here. We're getting a lot of work done. So once again, if you are first time joining us, we do these about every Monday morning, and you can see the recap on all the different platforms. But be sure to follow, subscribe, and always reach out. I'm always down to answer any questions. I think it's always great to give back because I've learned a lot from a lot of people on the internet, a lot of friends, mentors. So, okay, let's go. So we're getting some clarity, but I think this is like one of the this Moggy plugin, and then I think I used the male A. Let's just play this back. Okay. I'm adding this plugin and I want to hear what's actually going on. I don't want to just add a bunch of plugins for no reason. So let's focus on this section real quickly. And with this mod, we're gonna I'm just kind of using the trim right here to control, to kind of A/B it properly and see what we're gonna add and what we're gonna remove.
Treat me like a dog, baby. I know how to turn you on when I'm lost. Give me all your love. I want you to treat me like.
I was on the wrong instance of the plugin. See, you gotta be careful.
Give me all your love. I want you to treat me like a dog, baby. I know how to turn you on when I'm lost. Give me all your love. I want you to treat me like a dog, baby. I know how to turn you on when I'm lost.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're doing here, the error gain was way too much. The level trim, I had to go down like 4 or 5 dBs. And again, I just want to have like an honest A to B on this. So, and it's opening it up the way I want it to open it up. And once you're opening it up here, you're also hearing how it's working with the parallel compressors. And you're just getting more of what you're actually wanting to hear.
Give me all your love. I want you to treat me like a dog, baby. I know how to turn you on.
Okay, so we're gonna copy this one to this other one. Actually, I have no idea why I'm doing this. Let's see. What's up, man? Good to see you again. Thanks for joining the stream. We are back with another one. Okay, so let's hear these two in the mix now. Yeah, so now we have more clarity on what he's saying and it's more up front. And so I had to lower it because adding all the plugins, the EQ and the parallel compressors kind of brought up the vocal in the mix in a good way, but a little too loud. So now I'm coming here to the master sub-aux group for the vocals, and we're looking at how much gain reduction we're getting and the output that we're adding, the makeup gain. Alright, so not too much. It's in a good pocket. I really like where it added that. Again, the tricky thing is going to be the verses, because the verses and and also the last hook is a drop hook, so there is no drums in the last hook. So this is a great track because like we just worked on the hook right now, and I think the hook's in a solid place. We're gonna we're gonna start going to the verse, and then we have different instrumentation, and we're gonna have to kind of make it all work together and connect. You know, because you want it to feel like one song, one sonic landscape. You know, and it's really challenging when you have such a dynamic shift. But that's the cool thing about the song, and I think what carries the whole song is always the vocalist. The vocalist is really what's clutch. So let's work on the verse and the pre. So we're basically shifting a little bit of mindsets here. We're gonna have to adjust some of the things we have done, and let's take a listen.
Your party to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the windows and the
So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bypass the this sub kick that we have in this section. It's not gonna go to the same as the other drums. We're just gonna go to um, the master drum bus, sub bus. There's a lot of auxes in the session, and we're just again trying to emulate a console feel, emulate like a sub mixer, and to me it just kind of gives me helps create the glue and the width and depth that I like out of mixes. So
You're a party that leads to another party of
so that was a huge difference. That kick did not need to be really up front or attacking. It needed to be more just like warmth and like putting it through the processing that we had the drums for the hook was not the vibe. So this is great.
You're a party that leads to another of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the
We're gonna work on the bass and we're gonna add
to my life right outside. You're a party that leads to
that was Fairchild.
another party of its own. In an Arizona
Oh no, man. Warm audio has got its own sound, man. I've used it a few times in studios. Warm audio. I think all these new companies are giving people new tools, and it works for if you can use the tool in a positive way, it's working for you. Um, I'm still primarily in the box when it comes to mixing. I do have a sub mixer, but yeah, I need to get. I kind of want to do more outboard gear for mixing, but we'll see. Oh, cool. What do you have so far? Do you have their EQs or pre's or compressors? I'm gonna add a EQ to the bass. I like using the classic EQs on these ones. I don't know. These Harrison ones are cool. So the Fairchild kind of did its thing.
you're a party that leads to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head.
Oh, dude, you got the. That's nice. I've heard good things about the 800 and the 73. I haven't tried the EQ, the EQP. What is it? The pull type version. Yeah, that's solid though. Yeah, I think I was using the 84. One of the studios I was working on a lot for a while, they had that 84 in it. Great, man. It was great. Yeah, yeah. Dude, I honestly think that all the gear that's being made today is giving everyone a leg up because there's no bad gear. Like, I came up in the era where the consumer and prosumer and like the pro level was wide gap. It was a wide gap. Um, I've had records, man. Some of the biggest records I've had have like used the Focusrite, like 100 million screen, few 100 million screen Focusrite interface. I've used a 103. I've used a live mixing console as a mic pre, and I think that dance record's like massive. So I don't think gear is bad anymore. It's just how you use it, you know. Uh, you do what you got to do with the gear you have in front of you. It goes a long way. Just learn how to use your gear. So yeah, dude. Yeah, now you're saving a ton of bread. That's a yeah, that C800 right now for like and like the it's insane.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own.
Yeah,
In the near
yeah, the Waves 800 is a fraction of the price. And if you're getting the job done, like that's all you need to do, man. Just get the job done. You don't need anything else. Again, like some of my biggest records have been with some basic gear that was available. Gear can only take you so much in the journey.
you're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest lunar desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest lunar desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night, behind the you're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest lunar desert.
All right, so I think we got a good sound for the bass here. We used the Fairchild Legacy, the Harrison, and then just I kind of I'm sending it to my Fatso parallel compressor. But I lowered some of that because I think that usually also adds a lot of extra low end. But I think after doing all that, it worked. Likewise, bro. Thanks for tapping in again. Appreciate you, man.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest lunar desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the
Okay, so the bass is in a good place. The thing that's popping out to me right now is the bells. So these are here. And this one's let's just kind of lower it a little bit.
you're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest lunar desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night, behind the
Let's try this. This is actually my favorite tape emulator on the market right now. It's this Oxide tape.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the
So I want to hear the tape sound, so that's why I'm going with the input all the way in there because I want to hear it. Yeah. Um, yeah. I think I'm a less is more, but I also have a pretty big master bus chain. Like I'm always like 10 plugins deep. So I think that shapes a lot of my mixing. So like once I kind of have the house, and then I don't do too much inside the other elements. Also, this is my production, so I've already kind of dialed in a lot of the sounds as I work with the production. But yeah, I think less is more. I think subtraction does more addition than people think.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the window.
I really like it. I'm gonna add a little reverb to kind of pull it back some. Not even for like effect. It's just more like the placement where it's at.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the. You're a party that leads to another.
So I know for a fact that we worked really hard to kind of find this like sparkly bell, and I don't want to take it too low in the mix because we wanted to have um just the right amount of presence still. And I personally don't mind it being next to the vocal, but we'll see once I hear it in a different way.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the nearest of the desert where the rain is never poured. You're right outside. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain has never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the windows and you're a party that leads to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain has never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside. You're a party that leads to another party of it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna work on the guitars now. I think we have the bass in a really and the drums in a really good place. We kind of touched on the bells, and so let's do it here.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain has never poured. You're the sparkle in my.
Put it in the wrong place. All right, let's go.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain has never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? You're a
So I'm adding this 1176. This is one of the legacy ones, and I'm just trying to get a little bit more out of the guitars, just a touch. Like I want the guitar on this track to just kind of have a little more presence. And I don't want to use saturation because I have so much sound already, and I do a lot of saturation in my production. So when I get here, I like to do it differently. That reverb I think is Logic. So he printed the reverb. I haven't added any reverb on his track. I think it's whatever the basic Logic stuff is. I don't think he does anything too crazy. But yeah, Logic reverbs are actually really solid. Like the reverb, pretty. I like it. Rear bus. That is just a compression. The rear bus is this guy right here. So I send all my instruments there. So it's a parallel compressor, and I just kind of bring that into the mix. So my keys, guitars, bass, not 808s, and effects, anything else that's not actually drums or vocals or 808, I send here, and it works just like a glue, and it adds a little bit of depth. And then like I try to squash it.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own.
So I just add it all the way in there. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I came from Andrew Sheps. I learned that from Andrew Sheps in one of his old classes. So it's a really great tool though.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In an Arizona desert where the rain has never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said?
of the synth pads that I really want to touch on. So let's kind of like listen to these guys.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the Arizona desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly.
So the pads already have a good separation, so I'm just trying to get more of the definition with some of the notes in like the subharmonic, not the like upper harmonics really. Subharmonics, I think we have enough.
You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the Arizona desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night behind the window.
All right, that's really cool. So now let's see. That was the verse, and now let's look at the pre. The pre has some different instrumentation as well.
You're a shadow in the night behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack. Shadow in the night behind the window.
So we were going to do the telephone effect on this one, so we're going to add that right now. I like the Sound Toys. I was gonna say Fab Filter. Sound Toys. Filter Freak 2, and they have like the setting here where I kind of add the telephone effect, the telephone filter. It's a little different than like just using the EQs or some of the other plugins, and I just like it.
Behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside. You're right outside. Shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside. Shadow in the night, behind windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside.
This sound took a few days to get right. I went back and forth. I love the sound, but it feels a little like we're dropping energy. So I don't think there's a bass in this either, is there? No bass in this part at all. Okay, so we're gonna actually beef this sound a little bit more.
Like a shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Give me all your love, yeah, treat me like a dog, baby. I'm here to turn you on.
60. I think the 60 has a lot of cool textures. Okay, let's hear it.
Like a shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds, playing the soundtrack to my life. Right outside, you're right outside. Give me all your love, yeah, treat me like a dog. You're a party that leads to another party of its own. In the Arizona desert, where the rain is never poured. You're the sparkle in my keychain. You're the words inside my head. Why the stars fade so quickly? Was it something that I said? Like a shadow in the night, behind the windows and the blinds.
Okay, so I actually want to add just some low end warmth to this one. Um, Let me look at this plugin stuff though, because I feel like I'm using a lot of UA stuff. Whenever I get on here, like UA is like my jam. I'm like, oh, I don't use a lot of UA because sometimes I'm mixing so fast that I'm like trying to like just get anything, uh, like just quick, even just a lot of Pro Tools native plugins. Let's see, what can we do to add some? Obviously, I want to use what will give me the warmth that I want. So that's why I like these um, old EQs or like the EQs that are kind of based off of old plugins because they just kind of that's kind of the goal to give it like warmth stuff. And I'm curious what I forget some of the plugins I have too. Guys, there's not like an easy way to remove plugins you don't have now. Oh, you know what? This is a Little Labs BOG analog. It just kind of like a sub generator thing. I use it for 808s a lot. Let's get this into me. I'm not hearing anything. Hmm, didn't work. So let's see if we have another one we can use. Harmonic. You know what? I like I like Helios. Try it. Let's see how it works in these ones.
Right outside, you're right outside. Give me all your love, yeah, treat me like a dog.
All right, guys. We are in a great place. So I'll play. I think we're gonna call it here on the mix. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and hit me up. It's at Stewart_Hidalgo on all platforms. Appreciate everyone joining us today. Cheers. We'll be back next week.